Kia ora from Tokyo. I'm the bento buster at Kiwi in Japan, and today I'm going to make a Flourless chocolate cake. And it's probably one of the most simplest and best chocolate cakes ever. And it may be bold of me to say this, but this is one of those no-fail cakes. It's that simple, you can't go wrong, and the results are always great. Okay, to kick things off, you need to melt some butter and chocolate, just like this. I of course use the magic of a microwave, but you could also do it over a bowl of boiling hot water. The next step is to add some ground almonds or almond meal. Remember, this is a flourless cake, and after that, whoa, we put in the sugar. Then some real vanilla extract. And now it's party time, because here comes the rum. And are you familiar with this one? This is good old Bundaberg rum from Australia. Now just a tablespoon is enough because we aren't all alcoholics. Oh, and by the way, if you do have a strong shot of espresso on hand, now's a good time to add that too. But I don't, so I won't. But if I did, I would. Now the next step is to give it a good mix, making sure that these ingredients are nicely incorporated together. And once that's done, it's time to add the egg yolks. And again, it's the same process, give it a good mix, making sure those egg yolks are totally incorporated into the mixture. Oh, and have you noticed that I'm not using any high-tech machinery for this? That's because you don't need it. All you need is some good old-fashioned muscle power and a spatula. Okay, and now that that's done, it's time to add the egg whites. Hang on, Bento Buster, not so fast, no shortcuts here. These egg whites need to be whisked, young man. That's right, bust out your egg whisk and your good old-fashioned muscle power, and keep whisking until you have some white peaks. Okay, yes, I guess that will do. Okay, and the next step is to fold this gently into the mixture in batches. Not all at once, okay? I said in batches. Now be sure to be gentle, because we want those egg whites to keep that fluffy volume, thus making this mixture also light and fluffy. This folding process is very therapeutic, so while you're doing it, think of happy things like puppy dogs and cats. And after some repetitive gentle folding, the mixture should look like this. And I tell you what, this looks divine, and if I was 4 years old, I'd lick the bowl. And I think we're all guilty of that, even you older ones. Okay guys, good work, we are basically done. So the next thing we have to do is pour this into a lined and well-greased cake tin. Okay, all the preparation is done, so the next step is to bake this at 180 degrees for 40 to 50 minutes. And remember, everyone's oven's different. That's why it's give or take 10 minutes. And when the time's up, it should look like this. The cake has risen nicely and it's cooked all the way through and the top is nicely cracked. And by the way, that's the type of look that we're going for. And when it cools down, don't be shocked, because this thing deflates, but hey, that's what it's supposed to do. And when it's cooled down, it should look something like this. And notice I did let it cool down inside his cake tin. And now it's time to remove the cake tin and check out the cake. Ta-da! Oh yes, I can hit those high notes when I need to. You really should see me on a Friday night. Now the top layer of the cake is totally rustic. It's cracked, dry and firm, but inside it's lovely and moist, because that's the type of cake that this is. This is a cake with character. Every time you make it, the top layer will look slightly different due to those cracks, but the inside will always taste the same. And a light dusting of powdered sugar will emphasize those cracks, thus emphasizing the character. I've let the cake cool down for about 2 hours now, and it's a little bit premature, but I'm going to get stuck in for the sake of that money shot. This is the type of cake that as it ages, the flavor intensifies, so the less you touch it, the better it's going to taste. Reading between the lines, this is going to taste awesome now, but it's going to taste even better tomorrow. Just like a lasagna. And there it is, money shot. And of course it won't taste like lasagna, it'll taste like an awesome chocolate cake. I think you get my drift, right? Anyway, let's focus on this cake. Now look at it, doesn't it look so simple and delicious? And I do mean it when I say you can't fail with this cake. I mean, if you do fail, you must be a terrible cook and a real hazard in the kitchen. That said, let's get stuck in and see how it tastes. Oh, words fail me. All I can say is this is divine and full of flavor. It's just so rich. That's a lot of words, but that's what it is. You know what it is? It's an incredibly simple and wonderful chocolate cake, loaded with alcohol. And for the layman, It's a brownie for big boys, and big girls, and big them, and everybody. And trust me, once you've made this and tried it, this will be your go-to recipe every time. And for those of you who aren't overly into flour and are more into almond meal, if you get my drift, then this is for you. Oh, and guess what, guys? We're not done. Now it's time for round 2. That's right, it's the next day, and the flavor has intensified. Now just check out this cross-section, aka the money shot. Yep, that's 100% unadulterated chocolate cake. And I am going to enjoy every last crumb. And I am right, it does taste even better the next day. This cake is so chocolatey and rich, and it has that hint of nuttiness from the almonds, and then that sophisticated kick from the rum. You'll only need a small slice, and that means you've got more for later. Oh, and by the way, this goes great with a dollop of cream or sour yogurt. Happy baking, and I'll catch you next time on the Bento Buster. Stay safe and stay strong. Kia kaha!